your overvalued player for the 2023 season, Jacob. Who is it? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so basically when I put together my guys and I chose the players we were going to talk about today, I was looking at the Fantasy Pros expert consensus rankings. And so I go to quarterbacks and I see it's the ones that stand out to me like a sore thumb. And I'll say I almost went with Tua. But the thing is, I'm risk averse, and that's why. But I'm not going to go into the year assuming that Tua is going to get hurt again. That's not fair. So I was like, I'm not going to go with Tua because I'm not going to bring injury into this. And there's a whole other debate regarding that. So, and because they have Tua at QB 11, and I think it's a little too high, I'm staying away. But another guy I'm staying away from at his price is Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. Now, look. Is he a guy who might be pretty safe because of his rushing capabilities? Sure. Yeah. But it's called fantasy football. And in our fantasies, do we want a guy that's safe? No, we don't. We want a guy who can take us to the next level and be a weekly winner. He might prevent you from losing your matchups and he might get you. Well, our leagues play with a lot of bonuses and six-yard passing touchdowns and stuff, but like he might be a solid player for you and not lose you any weeks. But is he going to be a difference maker and win you any weeks? No. And he's going at QB 12. That's insane. That is seriously insane to me. Like I can't even fathom that. Like that's way too high for me. And I just can't wrap my head around it. So, he had a decent year last year. He was solid. And I think like in a 2 QB Superflex league, a dynasty, like he's a guy that you can depend on as your QB too. But if we're talking redraft here, right? And let's just go with like who are the other quarterbacks around him, right? Like obviously I'm taking everyone that's 1 through 10. When it comes to him and Tua, okay, I'll probably take Tua just because Tua has so much upside with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, like
In that
those
offense.
and Mike McDaniels is the man. So the thing is, if Tua stays on the field, I like Tua a lot more. But honestly, look, Kirk Cousins, and this is considering like I have to pay the price at QB 12 for Daniel Jones. I'm taking these other guys. I'm waiting and taking these other guys. I'd rather have Kirk Cousins. I'd rather have Geno Smith. I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers. Give me Goff. Russell Wilson is interesting. Obviously, I'll take Anthony Richardson over him. I'll take a healthy Stafford over him.
Ooh.
I'll take Jordan Love over him.
Let's go.
And then we're getting into territory that's very unknown. So there's a lot of guys that I like more than Daniel Jones. I don't love his pass catchers, right? He has a lack of pass catchers. The only thing that made me second guess my argument. Can you guess? There's one player that made me second guess my argument. It's
Saquon
not
Barkley.
Saquon Barkley. It's not
Oh,
Saquon Barkley.
Darren Waller?
It is Darren Waller. Darren Waller can literally be the difference maker in this and suddenly like get Daniel Jones up to a top 10 fantasy QB. Like that's honestly, I think that's the only scenario where, because I think he's going to hyper target Darren Waller. If Darren Waller stays healthy, he's going to have 10 to 12 touchdowns, because who else is going to be catching touchdowns on this team? Be a red zone threat. As far as, obviously Barkley will be, but look, you got Barkley, you got Waller. Those are solid players, but if I'm not mistaken, they were playing a lot of low-scoring games last year. Like, I don't know if I'm remembering correctly.
They were close, yes.
They were very close games, low-scoring, defensive games. They have a good defense. And this is all not necessarily a recipe for success for a fantasy quarterback. And, Saquon signed his one-year deal, and so he's going to be there. He's going to play. And is he going to take rushing? I mean, Saquon is kind of a unique player where like he's almost like 50-50, where he's like a pass catcher and a running back. Like he's kind of equally a receiver as much as he is a running back. So maybe that'll help Daniel Jones rush more. But also, is he going to take red zone carries away from Daniel Jones? Possibly. So I just don't love it. QB12 is way too high for me. That's all.
QB12, way too high for you. Also, you mentioned quarterbacks that you'd rather have. Let's just look at other players that are going in the 10th round. I'm taking guys like Quentin Johnson going a few picks ahead of him, Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson, the running backs out of Washington, Pat Fryermuth, if you want him to be your first tight end. Also, guys that are going right behind him. I want the upside of Elijah Moore and Jamal Williams. Tight end 10, by the way, Jacob, David Njoku, and rookie Zach Charbonnet.
Nice.
And those are just all positional skill players that I'd rather have over Daniel Jones. But of course, we're not the experts. We're just giving you our thoughts. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think about Daniel Jones in 2023? Is he too high? Or whatever else you think.